Hello everybody and welcome to Notorious Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm Notorious Cly, and today we are celebrating. We did it, everybody. We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Words cannot express how grateful I am for each and every one of you constantly clicking on the video, watching it, and most importantly, subscribing. Thank you. 1,000 times, thank you. But we're also celebrating Master Rank, baby! That's right, we did it! We got Resonator Red Dragon ARCHFIEND into Master Rank. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right into the deck profile. Alright everybody, there is a lot I want to fit in this video, so if you find an explanation lacking or want me to expand on something a little bit more, please let me know down in the comments. Or you can check out the 37 other videos I have on Resonator Red Dragon ARCHFIEND. First we're going to talk about our main deck cards, and then we're going to talk about our main deck cards in categories. Our first category is Soul Resonator and Soul Resonator Searchers. First we have Soul Resonator. It is the heart and soul of the deck. It is the best and most efficient way to start combos, and we want to see it as often as possible. Why is Soul so special? It searches any level 4 or lower fiend monster. It also has a bonus protection effect while it's in the graveyard if we control Red Dragon Archfiend or a synchro monster that mentions it. But the important thing is it searches the non-tuner we need to start synchro combos. Because of that, we're playing 16 copies of Soul Resonator. We have 3 Soul Resonator, 3 Resonator Call, 3 Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper, 3 Crimson Gaia, 3 Void Apocalypse, and 1 Foolish Burial. All of these cards get you access to Soul Resonator in one way or another. With 16 cards that give us access to Soul Resonator, we will see Soul Resonator in our starting hand 85% of the time. All things considered, an 85% chance to see a 1-card starter is really good. For those of you worried about the other 15% of the time, have no fear. This deck has a wide variety of 2-card combos that get us to a similar endgame. Pretty much pair up a non-tuner and a tuner, and you can fumble your way into a decent combo. To label the 13 other cards that count as Soul Resonator as just Soul Resonator Searchers would be underselling them a bit. Each one of these cards has multiple search targets, and some even have additional utility. Resonator Call is a non-once per turn searcher for any Resonator. Stone Sweeper is a once per turn searcher for any level 3 or lower fiend tuner, which is any Resonator. Crimson Gaia can search Soul, it can also search Vision, and it can also search our archetypical back row, which is back row that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend. They are Red Zone, which is a pop and can also summon a banished Dark Dragon Synchro monster, and Fiendish Golem, which banishes a monster with 2000 more attack. Gaia also has a ton of extra utility. It can reborn a Red Dragon Archfiend when a monster is destroyed on the field. You have a ton of cards that are Red Dragon Archfiend on field or in graveyard, so it's not just limited to the OG. And when Red Dragon Archfiend attacks your opponent's monsters, you can flip all those monsters face down. This turns any of the monsters that become Red Dragon Archfiend on the field into a valuable aggro tool, and it turns the OG RDA into a board wipe. Void Apocalypse is a card I started playing at the behest of my subscribers. At first I thought the card was a little redundant and didn't provide enough value, but I was wrong. I was beyond wrong. Void's primary purpose is to send Vision Resonator to the graveyard, so Vision Resonator can search Crimson Gaia, and then Crimson Gaia can search Soul Resonator. But its secondary purpose is to put Bone Archfiend in the graveyard, a place where Bone Archfiend can special summon itself. Bone is the primary search target for Soul Resonator. It is the non-tuner you want to pair up with Soul to start your combos. In the TCG, gaining access to Bone usually isn't a problem because stopping the Soul search is technically incorrect because there's always the chance that the desired Soul search target is already in the hand. Master Duel players are, let's say, a little less patient with their interaction. A significant number of players have if it glows, it goes philosophy when it comes to hand traps. Occasionally, the trigger happy players will be incorrectly correct and stop the soul search and end the turn prematurely because you don't have Bone Archfiend in hand already. Void Apocalypse provides a way to punish their lack of patience while also providing extra consistency. Foolish Burial does the same thing as Void Apocalypse, except it also grants us access to our Bestial engine that we're playing by sending Lubellion or Saronir to the graveyard. Now that we've highlighted Soul and the myriad of ways to search it, let's briefly talk about the rest of our Resonator engine pieces. We have Crimson Resonator, the mascot of the channel, and arguably the most important card in the deck. We can get away with only playing one copy though, because Soul and Bone do an amazing job of working Crimson into rotation. The single most important thing you can do on your turn is resolve Crimson Resonator's second effect to special summon up to 2 other Resonators from hand or deck. If you do this and your opponent does not have Nibiru, you probably win the duel. Vision Resonator and Synchron Resonator are the most common targets for the Crimson Resonator effect, but they're also decent situational extenders and provide additional utility. Vision Resonator can special summon itself from the hand if there's a level 5 or higher Dark Monster on the field. Synchron Resonator can special summon itself if there's a Synchro Monster on the field. Vision Resonator, when it's sent to the graveyard, can add any of our archetypical back row to our hand, and Synchron Resonator, when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, can recycle a Resonator back to hand. We've already touched on Bone Archfiend a little bit, but I figured he deserves a shout out because Bone Archfiend is one of the most broken custom cards I have ever read. If it's in our hand or graveyard, we can special summon itself. This means it's a non-tuner that can get itself from the hand or the graveyard. Once you have Bone in rotation, it's there forever. Additionally, it can modulate the level of another monster on the field, or itself even, and send a Fiend tuner from the deck to the graveyard. This is what allows you to put the Crimson Resonator into rotation and really make your combos explosive. The last bit of our Resonator engine here is Obsessive Oovaloop. Oovaloop is an important card because it really increases the ceiling of our combos, because it can put Synchro Monsters into the Banish Zone for Bestial Espada to revive. The current meta loves to put important light or dark monsters in the graveyard, and the Bestials punish them for doing so, in addition to being slightly synergistic with our Resonator engine. We're playing 3 copies of Lebellion, 1 copy of Magnamut, 1 copy of Zarnir, 1 copy of Druid Swarm, and a Branded Beast to pair up with them. We are not playing Etude, because Etude is win more cope. I will die on this hill. Playing the Branded Beast isn't the worst thing in the world, because our end board commonly features Bestial Espada, which is a Bestial monster, which will fulfill the requirement for Branded Beast to activate. The neat part of the Bestials being good hand traps this format is that we get to count them in our hand trap math. We are playing 19 hand traps, which means we will see at least 2 hand traps in our opening hand 60% of the time, and we will see at least 1 hand trap in our starting hand 90% of the time. Having cards that are interactive and good going first or second is what really allows this deck to punch up against the meta. Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend is not a meta deck, it is not a meta contender. It is an off-meta deck that can be built in a very specific way to capitalize on weaknesses that the meta has. I believe I have done that here. Again, we were playing 19 hand traps, 3 Veiler, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, 2 Bell, 2 Nibiru, 3 Imperm, and the Bestials. I'm only playing 2 Nibiru and 2 Bell because they are a little more niche in scope than the rest. I want cards that are going to be as good as often as possible. The last card we need to touch on in our main deck is Archfiend Eccentric. This is Master Duel. In the Master Duel ranked ladder, stun players are everywhere. Floodgates will find their way into your life. It is an inevitability. Archfiend Eccentric can put itself in the pendulum scale and then tribute itself to destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls. It is also a level 4 lower fiend type monster, which means it is searchable via Soul Resonator. Having a searchable out to Floodgates is comfort for me. I hate skill drain. That's going to do it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck really quick. We have 3 copies of Red Rising Dragon. This is the card we are looking to make early and often. On summon, it gets to bring back a Resonator from the graveyard, which is going to allow us to synchro climb into bigger, better, more useful Red Dragon Archfiends. Speaking of that, we have Scar Red Dragon Archfiend, which is an incredible card. When it's sent to the graveyard, it will replace itself on field with the original Red Dragon Archfiend. But if that wasn't enough for you, Konami sprinkled a little extra spice in there too. If it's sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can blow up all your opponent's attack position monsters. This means Scar Red is great going first and second. I'm playing 2 copies of the Scar Red Dragon Archfiend because it's one of the most important combo pieces we have, and I do not want it being ripped from my extra deck by a Kashtira Unicorn. Speaking of which, we are also playing 2 Red Dragon Archfiend. We're playing 2 Red Dragon Archfiend because Kashtira Unicorn is a thing, and we want to have a Red Dragon Archfiend to float into on our turn, and a Red Dragon Archfiend to float into on our opponent's turn if Scar Red Dragon Archfiend finds its way onto our end board. Having the second Red Dragon Archfiend in the extra deck ensures that we are always maintaining field presence and threatening our opponent's board, because Red Dragon Archfiend paired with Crimson Gaia is a board wipe. It will attack, Gaia will flip everything down, Red Dragon Archfiend will then blow everything up. Next, we're playing the one copy of Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. It doesn't come up that much, but it does come up every so often in Grimy Gummy game states, and it can win those Grimy Gummy game states because it can blow up everything else and burn your opponent. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. 2 copies because Cashterra Unicorn is a thing. I hate that Cashterra sees play as a deck on its own and as an engine in one of the best decks in the game. Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, in my opinion, is the best monster in our extra deck. Red Supernova Dragon is definitely more powerful, but Abyss requires less resources to make and is a pain for your opponent to deal with. Next, we have Red Dragon Archfiend Bane, which oddly enough, I think I saw in one of my duels today, has like an 82% win rate in Master Duel. If you get to Bane, odds are you're going to win. It's pretty easy to see why too. Bane can tribute off any monster to summon back a Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard. It's a great aggro tool and a wonderful way to get important Red Dragon Archfiends back onto your field, namely Scar Red. Then we have Bystial Despotter. Bystial Despotter and Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss are best friends, at least when I play the deck. You will almost always see Despotter and Abyss paired up with each other on the end boards. Its pop effect or its negate effect are very valuable and very interruptive and very annoying for your opponent, and it has the ability to bring back a banished light or dark monster. We have lots of Dark Dragon Synchro monsters we can banish with Oovaloop and then bring back with Despotter. Next, we have the Red Nova Dragon. This doesn't come up all that often, but it's one of the OGs. You gotta love to play it. The main reason why it's here is because it's a Synchro monster that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend, which means it turns on all the bonus effects of our archetypical cards, and you can make it as part of your Soul Resonator 1-card combo when the only card you have in your hand is Soul Resonator and 1 random card to discard. Red Supernova Dragon, the biggest, baddest boss monster of them all, can banish every card your opponent controls if they are foolish enough to attack or activate a monster effect. Resolving this effect once probably means you win the duel. Resolving it twice guarantees you win the duel. I have yet to lose a duel in which I have resolved Red Supernova Dragon once, and I don't think I've ever gotten to the point where I've resolved it a second time. My opponent usually scoops when I bring the Red Supernova Dragon back off of something like a red zone. The last card in our extra deck is Ancient Pixie Dragon. It's a level 7 Dark Dragon Synchro monster. Soul Resonator is a level 3 tuner. Bone Archfiend is a level 4 non-tuner. Sometimes you just need to make a 7. Alright everybody, I think that's going to do it for the deck profile. Let's finish this Master Rank celebration by watching the duel that got me into Master Rank. Alright, here we go. We are going first, and our opening hand is fine. It's fine. It's hard to complain about a hand that includes Effect Veiler, Nibiru, and Maxi, but I do wish the engine cards we opened were a little bit better. Void Apocalypse and Synchron Resonator, though, will get us access to Soul Resonator and will let us combo. I'm going to start with the Void Apocalypse here, and I'm going to end up pitching this Effect Veiler. This may be incorrect because I'm pitching an interactive card when I could very easily pitch something like the Synchron Resonator, but I wanted to get a little fancy with it and use Bone Archfiend plus Synchron Resonator to combo. I do not get the ability to do that here or show that off because our opponent drops Maxi. Maybe I'll show the Synchron plus Bone Archfiend combo in another video. So we're going to go ahead and send the Void Apocalypse to the graveyard, summon the Bone Archfiend, give our opponent 1 draw, and then we're going to play it safe here. We're going to send a Vision. Vision's going to add Gaia, and then Gaia is going to add the Fiendish Golem from deck to hand. We are just going to be as interactive as possible, give our opponent no additional cards, and say beat us through Maxi Nibiru Fiendish Golem. So they're going to go ahead and tribute off, and they're going to activate a Makanko equip spell. Oh no. You can't tell me that on my rank up duel in the master rank I'm going to get sacked by Makanko. Alright, we're going to drop this Maxi just to see if we can chase out Ash Blossom, and in case things go wrong, at least we'll get some draws, and then we're going to make this equip spell resolve without effect by banishing the Kaiju. In addition to that, we also clear the board because Makanko loves having monsters on our field. An empty field for Makanko isn't always the worst thing for them, but it's not always optimal. And then of course we get punished by talents. Because we activated Maxi in the main phase, they're going to elect to draw 2, and we get lucky. They don't draw anything. So we're going to go ahead and top deck. Another Crimson Gaia. Could be better. We're going to use the guy on field to grab Soul. Soul is going to go ahead and grab Vision. And then we're going to go ahead and grab the Bone Archfiend, put that on field. And they're going to drop Maxi. Why they drop Maxi here, I have no idea. Probably trying to get us to commit more resources to the board. So now they have a resolved Maxi. We have a battle phase and an opportunity to push ourselves into master rank. Are we going to take the Maxi challenge? Of course we are. We're never scared. Let's go in. Bone Archfiend target Soul, send Crimson, decrease the level. Go ahead and synchro summon 4 Red Rising Dragon. Red Rising Dragon, target the Crimson Resonator, bring itself back. Crimson Resonator activates back, get Synchron, get Vision, and at this point, my opponent has something. I am past 5 summons. They had nothing previously, so my only guess is it's Nibiru. We're going to make that Scar Red Dragon Archfiend. We're going to activate the Vision Resonator, get the red zone here, and then we're going to go ahead and make Bestial Potter. Did they forget that we banished one of their monsters with Fiendish Golem? Guess who has a negate on board? We're going to go ahead and get the Red Dragon Archfiend on the field, and there's the rock, and there's the Bestial Potter. This Potter says no. We're going to go ahead and turn that Red Dragon Archfiend and Division Resonator into a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. I see an open board. I see an opportunity for lethal. We are going to take a straight line to it. Bane, get back to Scar Red. Synchron, recycle Vision back to hand. And let's push. Battle phase. Punch. Punch. Bestial Potter. Master rank. Red Dragon Archfiend. There we are, everybody. Alright, everybody. That's going to be it for the video. Thank you to all 1,000 of you subscribers, and thank you to all of you who are watching this video. If you're not subscribed yet, come join the party. There's 1,000 of us. I can hardly believe it. All right, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Be safe. Have fun.